The Orthodox Christian landscape in the United States is complex, with multiple jurisdictions, ethnic traditions, and overlapping dioceses. For many observers, this multiplicity can be confusing. Why are there separate Greek, Russian, Serbian, Antiochian, Romanian, and other Orthodox churches in the same cities, often within blocks of each other? To understand this, we need to examine history, immigration, canonical traditions, and the unique circumstances of Orthodoxy in the American context. Orthodox Christianity arrived in North America in waves, primarily linked to immigration. The first recorded Orthodox presence was among Russian missionaries in Alaska in the late 18th century. In 1794, Father Ivan Veniaminoff, later canonized as St. Innocent of Alaska, began working among the native Alaskan population. Russian Orthodox missions established parishes and schools, translating liturgical texts into indigenous languages. These missions reflected the missionary focus of the Russian Church, which sought to establish enduring communities in a distant and sparsely populated territory. While Russian Orthodoxy established a foundational presence in Alaska, the turn of the 20th century brought a new wave of Orthodox immigrants to the continental United States. Greeks, Syrian, Lebanese, Serbian, Romanian, and Ukrainian immigrants arrived in significant numbers. These communities often came seeking economic opportunity, religious freedom, or refuge from political instability in Europe and the Middle East. Importantly, each community brought its own language, liturgical traditions, and cultural practices. Ethnic identity played a role in the formation of parishes. Greek immigrants, for example, established communities under the spiritual authority of the ecumenical patriarch of Constantinople. Serbian immigrants formed parishes under Serbian bishops, initially in Europe, later in North America. Arab Christians from the Levant, mainly Antiochian Orthodox, organized communities tied to the Patriarch of Antioch. Each ethnic group sought to preserve its traditions, language, and liturgical practices. This explains why multiple Orthodox jurisdictions could exist in the same city without overlapping in practice or culture. Another key factor is the principle of canonical jurisdiction in Orthodox ecclesiology. In the Old World, each autocephalous Orthodox church governs a clearly defined territory. The ecumenical patriarch, the Russian Church, the Serbian Church, and others exercise authority over their historic lands. However, in the United States, Orthodoxy was transplanted into a region without historical Orthodox boundaries. This created what canonical scholars call canonical pluralism. Multiple Orthodox jurisdictions exist in the same geographic space, each claiming the pastoral care of its faithful. The establishment of the Orthodox Church in America, the OCA, illustrates both the possibilities and the limits of unifying Orthodox jurisdictions in America. Rooted in the Russian mission in Alaska, the OCA received autocephaly from the Russian Orthodox Church in 1970, becoming a self-governing church independent of Moscow. Despite this, the OCA's autocephaly was not universally recognized, particularly by the ecumenical patriarchy, which complicates efforts towards a single, unified Orthodox structure in North America. The OCA remains primarily of Russian and Slavic heritage, though it has increasingly ministered to converts and English-speaking faithful. Meanwhile, the Russian Orthodox Church outside Russia, ROCOR, emerged after the Bolshevik Revolution, as emigre hierarchs and faithful sought to maintain ecclesiastical life free from Soviet influence. ROCOR organized dioceses in major U.S. cities and developed its own institutions, monasteries, and seminaries, preserving traditional Russian liturgical and spiritual life. ROCOR and the OCA, despite sharing a heritage, operate independently, further contributing to multiple Orthodox jurisdictions. Greek Orthodox immigrants established the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, maintaining canonical ties to the Ecumenical Patriarchate. This jurisdiction developed a hierarchical structure with metropolitans overseeing regions and a central archbishop in New York. Its growth mirrored the concentration of Greek immigrants in urban centers like New York, Chicago, Boston, and Los Angeles. Greek parishes maintained Greek language and liturgical tradition, ensuring cultural continuity with first and second generation immigrants. Other ethnic jurisdictions developed in parallel. The Antiochian Orthodox Christian Archdiocese of North America served primarily Syrian and Lebanese immigrants. The Serbian Orthodox Church in America maintained dioceses aligned with the Serbian Patriarchate, and Romanian, Bulgarian, and Macedonian Orthodox communities established their own parishes and administrative structures. Each of these jurisdictions prioritized pastoral care for its ethnic faithful, creating a patchwork of overlapping Orthodox dioceses that exist today. Immigration patterns also shape the landscape. Many Orthodox Christians settled in cities with existing ethnic communities. Orthodox parishes often became cultural hubs, offering schools, social services, and community centers. These parishes reinforced ethnic cohesion and sometimes resisted attempts at interjurisdictional unification. The desire to maintain one's cultural identity, coupled with canonical principles that prioritize the care of the faithful by bishops from their mother church, made overlapping jurisdictions both natural and necessary. The 20th century also saw efforts towards cooperation. In 1960, the Standing Conference of Canonical Orthodox Bishops in the Americas, SCOBA, was established to facilitate communication, joint initiatives, and pan-Orthodox programs. SCOBA was later replaced by the Assembly of Canonical Orthodox Bishops of North and Central America, which continues to promote coordination, education, missionary work, and charitable outreach while respecting the independence of each jurisdiction. These efforts demonstrate that multiplicity does not preclude unity in faith and practice, though canonical and administrative diversity remains a defining feature of Orthodoxy in America. Language and culture continues to influence parish identity. Many first-generation immigrants worship in their native language, while second and third generation faithful often prefer English. This has led some jurisdictions to adopt bilingual liturgies or even establish non-ethnic parishes, further complicating the jurisdictional landscape. Converts to Orthodoxy, drawn from non-Orthodox background, often find themselves attending parishes outside the ethnic tradition of their heritage, creating additional diversity. Finally, historical circumstances, such as political upheaval in Europe and the Middle East, forced waves of Orthodox refugees to settle in the United States. Each wave of immigration reinforced existing ethnic parishes or created new ones. The interplay between tradition, immigration, canon law, and pastoral care explains why, over time, America developed a unique Orthodox ecosystem, multiple jurisdictions, overlapping dioceses, and a rich mosaic of liturgical, linguistic, and cultural traditions, all united by shared faith in the Orthodox Christian gospel. In conclusion, the multiplicity of Orthodox churches in America is a product of historical necessity, canonical principles, immigration patterns, and the pastoral care of diverse ethnic communities. While this situation may seem confusing, it reflects Orthodoxy's capacity to preserve both tradition and cultural identity, even in a land without historical Orthodox boundaries. The result is a vibrant, diverse, and living Orthodox presence in America, characterized not by uniformity, but by faithful adherence to ancient traditions adapted to a modern multicultural context. Well, I hope you found it interesting. If so, do me a favor, the little subscribe button right down below. I'd appreciate it. And as always, have yourself a blessed evening.